What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Applying Theology's daily devotional, man, and we are going to the book of John. So we love here to talk about Jesus. That's why it's called Trusting Jesus Ministries, man, because I love Jesus, and I love Jesus because he has done so much for me in my life. Now, I want you guys to know that. I want you guys to feel and to see and to respond to that great love that he has. And the way that I can do that is by sharing the scriptures. We're going through it daily to help you trust in Jesus more. And it will help you to love Jesus, I hope, because you get to know the character of Jesus as we've been reading through that. And what better way to find the character of Jesus than in John? Because John writes about Jesus in such a unique and specific way to demonstrate his love, but his care and concern for us, and also his sacrifice. And so today we're in John chapter 15:6. We're in the farewell discourse, and we have talked a little bit about, first off, two things. One is that you bear fruit or you get cut off. And we talked in the last episode about bearing fruit and how you are able to, which is through the fountain line, through the connection, through our remaining in the vine, which is Jesus. And now we're going to find out what happens to those who don't. So if you haven't read it yet, go ahead and check out John chapter 15, verse 6. If you have, we're going to jump on into it. What's happening? It says, those who do not remain get picked up, gathered, and thrown into the fire to burn. That's what happens, man. There's no use for someone who is not bearing fruit. There's no use for someone who is not doing what it is that they have been called to do. There's no use in them. And we recognize that in all sorts of lives, man, in all sorts of things, man. Is that if it has no use, then we have to get rid of it because it could actually be more destructive in some way. And so I want us to take a look at that to see what does it mean and what does this say about God? Well, we see that in earlier we talked about him being the vine dresser, the Father being the vine dresser, and that he is the farmer, the one who does the gathering, the one who does the cleansing or the pruning to create more produce out of us, more fruit. And so God here is the one which gathers the people who do not connect with Jesus, who do not believe or trust or remain in Jesus, and they're cast off. They're put to the side because they're not doing the thing that they were called or created to do. But second, that Jesus is the source of life. So that means, and the reason that these things can be picked up, cast into the fire and burned is because they have no life in them. There is no life in them. And so because of that, it is for us to recognize that the only way to gain this life is to remain in Jesus. And that's what we saw earlier in the last episode, is that Jesus is the source and the purpose of our life. What's this say about man? It says that we need to find our source and purpose in Jesus. Otherwise, it gets burned. Everything gets burnt up, man. Jesus says this. He says, "Why work for things that are going to happen? Why work for things that are going to burn up in the end? Work for the things that moth and fire won't destroy." It's like those are heavenly things. Paul says something in the same way. It says, "Man, it's great to benefit the physical, but how much greater is it to benefit the spiritual? Work out your spiritual muscles." And so in order for us to maintain something that's going to last into eternity, we have to be connected to Jesus. So how do we apply these truths to our lives, man? Well, understanding that God is the source of purpose and life, get connected to it. Get connected to it. And later on, I talked last episode about what the how to remain, which is reading scripture, and which is prayer life, communicating, having devotion with the Lord. But there's also more. And when we read through the scriptures, and we're going to go through it, it's doing what he says. So not only just reading scripture and praying and finding that devotion in them, but walking out that lifestyle, applying these truths to our lives. That's the thing that I'm trying to stress here. Applying these truths to our lives. That's what I'm trying to help you do, and that's what it means to remain in Jesus. I appreciate you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.